but we mentioned the Eagles are the 2 seed. They locked that up yesterday, had a dominant performance against their arch rival Cowboys. But there were some interesting things in this game. In the third quarter, Eagles up 24-7. Kenny Pickett playing in place of the injured Jalen Hurts. You're going to see a penalty here, so pay no attention to the end of the play. Just watch the hit that Pickett takes. Dan, that would end his day.
Yeah, obviously banged up last week, and then the reports after the game that he's playing with a broken rib, took a shot pre-game and then halftime. Tough dude, hangs in there, finds a way to operate for their football team.
And in comes Tanner McKee. And with the Eagles up 27-7, Tanner McKee throws his first career touchdown to A.J. Brown. This was a fun sequence here. A.J. Brown forgets that it's his first touchdown, so he throws the ball into the stands. Tanner McKee is thinking, wait a minute, that's my ball. So A.J. Brown is looking up in the stands saying, I'll give you a signed jersey if you get the ball back down here. Big Dom gets the ball back. The fan says, I got you, we're all good here, and we'll show you the result of that in a minute after we show you Saquon Barkley. Rex Ryan, what you were about to see is history. Saquon Barkley becoming the 9th back ever to rush for 2,000 yards in a season.
Man, I mean, the guy is so special. I mean, so electric, and he's been like this, so consistent the entire season. The MVP of this team, certainly.
He ran for 167 yards on the day. He is very much knocking on Eric Dickerson's door. We'll talk about that in a minute. Meanwhile, later in the drive, it's McKee, it's Devontae Smith. Eagles win it 41-7. They clinch the division. And to put a ribbon on the other storyline, the fan would indeed get the signed A.J. Brown jersey. So all is well that ends well. But the storyline for me, Eagles win it. They're the 2 seed. All well and good. Here's the story. Barkley outran the pace that he needed entering the game. He is 101 yards away from passing Eric Dickerson. Barkley is going to need an extra game to do it. We know that, but he also would likely do it in fewer carries than Dickerson. Let's not parse that. After the game, Barkley asked if he wants to go for the record.
I mean, it's up to Nick, to be honest. And, whatever his decision is, I'm all for it. If his mindset is, we'll go out there and try it, and I'll go out there and try it. But his mindset is, let's rest and get ready for, this run, then I'm all for that too. And, I'm not just saying that because a camera's in my face or a mic's in my face. I really mean that. I came here to do something special, and obviously breaking a record special, but I want to be part of, I want a banner up there, and I think we all do.
All right, so, first and foremost, as you were both saying, he says everything you dream that a football player would say.
Awesome.
Let's not relitigate or any of that. Coach, I'm begging you. You're my coach. I am begging you. I'm an offensive lineman on this team. I'm a running back on this team. Well, I'm the running back on this team. This is a 40-year-old record. It is the most famous record in the sport. I ask you, for those who might disagree, who has the passing single-season record? What is it? Everyone knows Eric Dickerson in 2105. It survived the entire careers of Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith and Adrian Peterson and Derrick Henry. And Saquon has a chance to break this record next week. Coach, I'm begging you. Let me play and go for the record. What do you say?
Nah, son, we got bigger things to do. And to me, this team is so set up to make a deep run and to go chase that Super Bowl ring. I'm responsible for the entire organization. And to me, absolutely, I want Saquon Barkley fresh for the playoffs. And if he's fresh for the playoffs, there's no reason why we can't win the whole darn thing. What would happen if this guy gets banged up? Like, you can't do that. I need our team to be popping out of our skin when we get in to make a playoff run. The record would be great. I would love to have that record. But you know what? I'd much rather have a Super Bowl.
I'm coming to my quarterback now.
We're going.
So I just went for my coach. My coach said no. But now my quarterback has a lot of say. Everyone knows the quarterback. So now I got, Coach, a quarterback, I need you to go talk to Coach. I need you to talk him into letting us do it.
You got a half.
Half a game.
Get it done.
101 yards.
Get it done in the first half. We're going to go for the record. Because here's the thing, too. This isn't just going to be Saquon's record. This is going to be this offensive line's record. This is going to be Lane Johnson, who's one of the great right tackles in the history of the NFL. It's his record. Shoot, this is going to be Jeff Stoutland's record as well, who's one of the greatest offensive line coaches in the history of the NFL. Saquon, fellas, you got a half. We're playing against the Giants. Jonathan Taylor ran all over them yesterday as well. You get a half to go get this record. This is something that is NFL history. If this was 170 yards away, we're having a different conversation. He can get 103 carries on this coming Sunday. This is if I'm the Eagles, I want that record in my organization as well. We are an offensive line rich organization. If I'm Howie Roseman, their general manager, who went and broke the mold of his history and signed, I want it as under my name as well. So I fully expect them to go chase it down. And also, let me be clear. It's not like you can only have one or the other.
Right.
You could go get the record and still be healthy enough to go on your playoff run.
By the way, they're playing the Giants to whatever degree that the deliciousness of it. Go ahead,
Both
Shefty.
You guys are wrong, by the way.
Yeah, Shefty.
Dan, did you say you fully expect him to go for the record? Is that what you said, Dan?
I do.
I fully expect them not to go for the record.
Amen.
Fully expect them not. You could just hear the way they were answering the questions yesterday. They were playing it down. And did you notice as soon as he got over 2,000 yards, as soon as that last run got him to 2003 and he became the 9th running back in NFL history to get that mark, they took him right out of the game. They didn't leave him in to do more damage into the Eric Dickerson mark. They didn't do that. They don't have a bye the first week. They're not trying to get they're trying to get a Super Bowl. I would be floored if Saquon Barkley is on the field this weekend. Floored. He's not going to be out there.
Absolutely.
So close. You're 100 yards away. I get your point.
Cares?
And like, if you're going, I would imagine some players care. I would imagine some guys are that close to that record.
You heard
and if
Saquon.
you play Saquon, you got to play the
Saquon.
offensive line. I get that. But you're so close.
Shefty, final word, go.
Listen, they essentially told you their answers yesterday. Saquon did it. Nick Sirianni did it. Their actions on the field did it. We could continue talking about and debating whether or not they should play him. They're just not going to play him next week, but let's keep having fun talking about whether Saquon should play.
I'm going to keep lobbying. I'm lobbying Rex, and I'm lobbying Danny. I'm going to work on Shefty during the break, and we'll see what happens today. Who was my dog of the week?
The Giants, the little Giants.
They weren't so little yesterday. Fourth quarter, they're leading the Colts by 2, and then Malik Neighbors gets loose.
Well, Jayden Daniels is going to run Offensive Rookie of the Year, but my goodness, Brock Bowers and Malik Neighbors have both had unbelievable rookie seasons. The only bright spot for that football team.
Neighbors had 171 yards and 2 touchdowns yesterday, and then it's Drew Lock. What a day he had.
Drew Lock was unbelievable. Career day by the Colts defense for Drew Lock, both throwing and running the football. Every time the Colts felt like they might get back in it, they took over offensively.
Yeah, Lock accounted for 5 touchdowns. Joe Flacco accounted for this pick at the finish. And the Colts season comes to an end right there. At least their chances of making the playoffs came to an end with this stunning defeat as the Giants get their first and only home win of the season, 45-33. But of course, part of the reaction at least is as they snap a team record, franchise record, 10-game losing streak. The New York Post saying the damage is 1, meaning they lose their opportunity at the first pick. What's the damage they're alluding to? Well, they have now dropped from picking first to picking 4th. For teams that are tied, the team with the easier strength of schedule gets the better draft pick, which is why they are 4th among the 4 teams at 3 and 13. So I guess I feel like I need to start by asking this question, Rex. Like for the people who are actually in it, I get the fans feeling that way. I totally do. And I get, talk show hosts like me and others bringing this up. But if you're a coach or you're a player on that team, are you thinking about that stuff? Like you're going out there trying to win. They don't feel terrible about having won the game yesterday.
No, I mean, they feel fantastic about it. I mean, look, you're going to fight till they kick you out of the building. And so for Brian Daboll and all, that's been a horrendous season. We get it. But you're fighting your tail off. And to get a win, man, you got to feel great about it. And unfortunately, I get it because I've been a fan too, that you're like, what in the hell are you doing? But the competitiveness, this is professional football, all right? You're paid to win. And you're paid to win as a coach and paid to win as a player and compete 100%. So, no, I mean, congratulations to the Giants. And look, I've killed them, the little Giants and all that. For them to show up this way, and albeit against a team, the Colts who can't stop anybody, I mean, it was a great win for them. And congratulations. They got a chance to win next week, too.
Yeah, because the Eagles won't play anybody.
Absolutely.
Is what you're saying. Schefter, let me come to you because the speculation will now turn to, before we get to who they wind up drafting and can they find a way to get a quarterback and all that kind of stuff, right. It'll turn to who will be the people making the decisions. Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, what is the expectation relative to their future in New York?
Well, John Mara has said that he wants to be patient. He wants to give them time. He wants to give them a chance. And they have really wanted to keep the same thing going here, consistency. Now, that doesn't mean they ultimately will. There are going to be conversations after the season. But there's a feeling in that building that they want to run the course and keep the things the same and move forward with these guys. Now, we'll see whether they actually do that. That's the kind of win that you're looking for. You get another one like that. You go into those meetings after the season talking a little bit differently than you would have if you lost those last two games. And that's why these final weeks of the season sometimes shape and influence those conversations that occur. But I think the Giants have been pretty clear that they want to be patient. They don't want to make changes. They want to run it back with the same crew. I don't know if that's what fans want to hear. The fans want to see them lose the game. Fans want to see change. They want to see blood. But that's not how the organization is thinking. It doesn't mean they won't get there, but at least right now they've maintained a stance that they want to be patient and go with consistency. And we'll see if they do.
As I turn to Dan, Cindy, if we could put up the video or the picture that we have of Shedeur Sanders with the cleats, because everyone in New York, all the Giant fans wanted them to get the first pick, and that's Shedeur Sanders' locker, and he's got cleats with the Giants on them. So that was sort of what he wanted. He does project, according to Mel and Field, who I talk to every single week. I think we expect Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders to be the two quarterbacks who are drafted at or near the top of the coming year. What do you expect for the Giants relative to that?
Are you willing to pay Sam Darnold $50 million? I would much rather have that than drafting one. I don't think they're going to get one of those guys at 4 right now. And I think the question for the Giants is going to be, because they won the game, Sam Darnold at $50 million, can you pry him away from Minnesota? Justin Fields or Russell Wilson for 20-something million? Kirk Cousins for $27 million? If the Patriots, Titans, and Browns are ahead of you, I would expect those quarterbacks to more than likely be gone in 2 of those 3 spots. Their roster's so bad you can't give up picks, so the free agent market is more likely than that Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward edition.
Well, the Patriots seem likely to be willing to trade out of that spot, right? If someone, Schefter, I'll bring you back in on that thought. The Patriots are not going to draft a quarterback, obviously, so that would feel like that one would be in play. Go ahead, Schefter.
Well, yeah, but there would be a cost of giving up the top non-quarterback in this draft. And to go back to our earlier conversation where I don't believe the Eagles will wind up playing Saquon Barkley this weekend. I don't believe they'll play a lot of their regulars this weekend. If the Giants find a way to win this upcoming weekend, now you're looking at going from number 4, where they're projected today, to somewhere around number 10. And the cost of going from 10 back up to get one of those 2 quarterbacks is going to be prohibitive. So would you rather give up the cost of future picks for an unknown proven commodity at quarterback who could be great, or would you rather then try to hit the free agent market and go try to overpay for one of those quarterbacks? And by the way, that's if Minnesota even lets Sam Darnold get out of the building by not re-signing him or putting the franchise tag on him. I think that's an option, right? Like, all of a sudden, that's going to become part of. They're not just going to let a quarterback asset walk out the door. Right. So if you're the Giants and you win this weekend and all of a sudden you're picking number 10, what are you doing to solve that position?
Well, you got Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins. That's their top 3 options realistically as it sits right now.
Stranger things have happened. Letting 2 rookie quarterbacks in Michael Penix and Jayden Daniels. Falcons and Commanders, this was a great game. Falcons have a 10-point lead in the 3rd quarter, and then Jayden gets hot.
Yeah, I love that we get backside to Zach Ertz, and then that ball placement just right on Zach Ertz's face mask so he could be strong versus Jesse Bates in a touchdown.
Next Commander possession, 4th and 5, and they're going for it.
Happens quick. Everything happens quick for Jayden Daniels. That's That's one of his superpowers. And then an outstanding effort by McNichols to get under that tackle.
This is the same drive. It switched sides because it went to the fourth quarter, and that's Chris Rodriguez Jr. taking it in, and the Commanders take a 4-point lead. 2.5 minutes to go. Falcons down a touchdown. 4th and 11. Look at Penix.
Yeah, it's clearly the best throw for Michael Penix. The out-breaking route right now, so consistent with it last night. Drake London wins versus coverage, and then they got the opportunity down the middle of the field. Kyle Pitts is going to bend right in front of that safety. Ball comes out on time, and it's touchdown Atlanta.
That was also on a 4th down. 4th and 13. Falcons tied at 24. 2 seconds left after a pass interference penalty after the Falcons had completely mangled their clock management at the end. We'll talk about that in a minute. They wind up trying a 56-yard field goal from Riley Patterson, and it is well short. So we go to overtime, and the Falcons would never touch the ball. Commanders get the toss, and they get it all the way down. Jayden Daniels using his legs.
Yeah, that's the story of the game. Really, the story of the second half. The third quarter is when the game swung. His legs a huge part.
Here's how it sounded on the final play.
2 tight ends to the left. Here's the snap. James going to throw forward. He does. Into the end
What
zone.
a catch.
Caught. Second. Who wants to go to the playoffs? Touchdown! Touchdown Washington! They win it overtime! We'll see you in the postseason! Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, yeah! Let's go, baby! We're going to see you in the playoffs!
So 30-24, the Commanders get an unbelievable win. And before I get to the time management thing, just quickly, Rex, you have been saying for weeks now on this show and on Sundays, the entire league is going to be looking for the next Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they don't exist.
Yeah.
This guy is so special. Greeny, I mean, the talent of this guy, and like as a passer, he's right up there with any of them. But as a runner, he's explosive. And that's where you better have a hell of a plan. Like, I would hate to have to play against this guy because they have the quarterback run, which is hard as hell to defend. You've got every single pass rush lane. Anytime you try to play coverage, you better have it schemed up with a pass rush game because this guy will light you up. He had 127 rushing yards in this game.
Yeah.
And followed up, by the way, against the Eagle, a 5-touchdown effort. This kid right now, like I thought, they got, it's a great story. They're a year or 2 years behind. Why can't they do it now?
Yeah.
They project right now to be the 6th seed. If they beat the Cowboys next week, they would be the 6th seed, which would have them playing most likely Tampa or the Rams in the first round of the playoffs. But, Schefter, I know there was something in the end of that game that you wanted to get into here.
Well, again, if you watch the way that the Falcons and Raheem Morris handled the clock at the end, they essentially gave away the chance to win the game. And there was so much riding on this game. Here's the sequence. Late in the game, Penix throws a pass to the sideline. The clock is running. They've got 2 timeouts left. They completed the pass with, 32 seconds left. Look how much time they waste getting back up to the line of scrimmage without, you can't take the timeouts with you. You got 2 of them. I don't know what they were doing. After the game, Raheem Morris acknowledged that they could have used it better. He thought that they would be faster. By the time they get to the next play, there's 12 seconds left. And Riley Patterson is brought on to try a field goal of, 55, 56 yards, which was well out of his range, which fell short. And they had time to run more. And again, that sequence there may have decided the NFC South because now the Buccaneers are in position to win. If the Falcons had just found a way to, it was right there for them. They were driving up and down the field. I know, Rex, you're talking about how good the Commanders are. Why not them? Well, last night they looked flawed. The Falcons looked like the better team last night. They just didn't get it done when it mattered.
Yeah, the Falcons, if they'd won that game, would have controlled their destiny going into next weekend. Instead, now they need Tampa to lose to New Orleans to get into the playoffs, which is not impossible, but feels pretty unlikely. Rex, poorly handled clock at the end of the game.
Oh, my God. I mean, he pulled an Eberflus. I mean, that's what it's going to become. We're going to bring that up because, I thought that was the only guy that could blow this. Well, no, it's not. And by the way, their offense coordinator blew it the next week. But this one here, it doesn't matter. I'm just telling you right now, timeout, done.
No doubt.
Anything that far distance-wise, anytime you take a sack, anytime you have a play over 15 yards, you've got to call the timeout.
Yeah, and usually your starting point is if you've got multiple timeouts, under a minute you pop one, under 30 seconds you hit another one. And so the fact that they had 2 and it got under 30 and they didn't use it, that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, like you say, very well could have cost them, you know, a chance, because right now that one win would have clinched the division. Correct?
It would have put them in position to do it next week. Yes, it would have kept them in front. Whatever the word I'm looking for is, they would have controlled their own destiny.